Greetings. This is Doc Ock coming to you live today from Black Facts Headquarters Central. And today we've got a special presentation that will begin with a little proverb. And it goes like this. Some birds avoid the water, ducks seek it. Some birds avoid the water, ducks seek it. And that is a Nigerian proverb. Okay, so keep that one in mind. Some birds avoid the water, but ducks seek it. So seek and ye shall find. And what we're about to find right here is another poem out of the book, Vibes from the Scribes. Last poem in the book. And what does it say? The title is Get Moving. So let's do it. Let's go ahead and get moving and grooving. What you gonna do? You better get moving before we are all through. What you gonna do? You better get moving before we are all through. Wake up, mighty nation, from your sleep. Flex your muscles. Stand up on your feet. Put your fears behind and activate your mind. Know that the taste of freedom is bittersweet. Speak up loudly. Let your voice be heard. Train your tongue to speak the righteous word. Think before you talk and look before you walk. To be oppressed forever, why, that's absolutely absurd. Come on, do your part before you die. Don't let a chance for freedom pass you by. You owe it to the youth to search and find the truth. Results depend on just how hard you try. You must look to the future right away. You must get on the move without delay. And when all is said and done and victory is won, you will find you move the obstacles away. Wake up yourself from this unpleasant dream, because it's starting to make us all scream. Your limbs must work together as a team. Your future could be great if you cooperate. Believe me, things ain't always what they seem. Break the bonds that hold you to the earth. Free yourself. Show the world your worth. Let your motto be, I'm determined to be free. To give my children freedom from the birth, unleash that talent, put your mind to work. Who knows what joys behind tomorrow lurks? It's time to take a stand and give yourself a hand. But first you must be free of doubt and shirk. Search your soul, free yourself within, let become your bosom friend. Make your motives right, and your future could be bright. Just reassure yourself that you can win. Put your words in action in accord. Keep your obligations to your Lord. The time is much too late to procrastinate. Your actions will determine your reward. Wake up, wake up. I've got to say it twice. Wake up, wake up. I might have to say it thrice. It ain't nothing happening without some sacrifice. So do what you got to do before we are all through. If you want freedom, prepare to pay the price. What you gonna do? You better get moving before we're all through. What you gonna do? You better get moving before we are all through. That's my message to you today via Suleiman El Hadi. That's right, they got the Hadi on the case today. Meanwhile, I got a little extra piece I'm gonna throw in here. Throw a little extra piece in right here. This one goes right along with our theme of the day. It comes via the island of Jamaica. That's right. And it's from Bob Marley, none other than, let me see. Let me go back here. All right, here we go. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Give up, stand up, don't give up the fight. Preacher man, don't tell me heaven is under the earth. I know you don't know what life is really worth. It's not all that glitters is gold, and half the story has never been told. So now you see the light. Stand up for your rights. Come on, get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Most people think great God will come from the skies, take away everything and make everybody feel high. But if you know what life is, you will look for yours on earth. And that's the end of our song for today. I only want you to take one thing with you on this day. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. 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 Get up, stand up. I thought that would be an appropriate theme for today, based on everything that's going on all around us, all over the world. All over the world, things are going on. So it's time to wake up out of our sleepless slumber and go ahead and dial this number. So we're dialing it up. This one is about the Maroons of Jamaica. Like other parts of Afro-America, Jamaica had its share of slave runaways and insurrections. That's all outright revolution. In time, as in the case of Suriname, and nominally autonomous communities of former slaves came to exist. Now, if you recall, that's what they've been calling that community up there in Seattle, up on Capitol Hill. They've been calling it the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone until the residents rejected that particular moniker. In the mountainous cockpit country, even today, on the island of Jamaica, in the village of Accompong, there lived descendants of runaways who contested for their liberty against Spanish and British colonial forces. When Jamaica was taken over by the British from the Spanish in the year 1655, most of the to Cuba. Many slaves that they left behind found sanctuary in the mountain fastness, joining other runaways who had preceded them. 35 years later, there was an insurrection in Clarendon Parish, and more fugitives escaped into the mountains. Thus, a number of communities of escaped slaves came into being. In the early 1800s, the ex-slaves residing in Clarendon Parish, who were now referred to as Maroons from the French word marron, or the Spanish cimarron, meaning wild or fugitive, were organized under a chief name with the name of none other than Cudjoe. That's right, Cudjoe. Born on a Cudjoe. I believe he's born on a I forgot. A brother born on a Tuesday, whose two brothers, Accompong and Johnny, served as his assistants in the defense against the British. Many of the blacks in Cudjoe's region were Cordomantes, which is an Ashanti, from the Ashanti tribe. But there appears to have been numerous Nagos, Mandingos, Angolas, and others as well. Under Cudjoe's leadership, the fugitive community thrived and became nearly self-sufficient, frequently raiding white settlements when supplies ran low. Unable to cope adequately with the various groups of Maroons, Jamaican authorities did what? What did they do? They signed a treaty with them in 1738, which for the time brought peace, but it also brought justice. It gave the Maroons of Trelawney Parish unprecedented rights and privileges. It recognized them as self-governing, assigned land to them, specified their right to hunt, and acknowledged their right to travel and trade. Later, these rights and privileges were given to other Maroon groups. In return, the Maroons agreed to return any runaway slaves that might seek sanctuary among them. In the closing years of the 18th century, however, there were new frictions and forays. During these renewed hostilities, the Maroons, living in a village called Accompong after Cudjoe's brother, avoided conflict and remained faithful to their agreement with the British. Jamaican authorities attempted new negotiations, and this failing, they undertook an expedition to put down the Maroons once and for all. But the Maroons did what? They got up and stood up. They resisted strongly and turned back combined forces of British troops, Jamaican militia, and free black auxiliaries. At last, a body of Spanish hunters with trained dogs was brought from Cuba to hunt down and subdue the resisting blacks. And at this point, the Maroons surrendered, following which most of them were transported to Nova Scotia. And the story continues. And ultimately to the British African Protectorate of Sierra Leone. Some who were not deemed dangerous to the peace were allowed to remain in Jamaica. However, the people of Accompong, who had avoided hostilities with the British following the signing of the 1738 treaty. Today, still, Accompong is recognized as a separate corporate entity, untaxed, allowed to select its own headmen, now called colonels, and possessing the right to hold its own courts and compel obedience to its own laws. Accompong. So when you go to Jamaica and you're sitting over there in hedonism 2, or you're over there enjoying yourself in hedonism 1, or maybe you decide to go on to hedonism 3, or whatever other kind of hedonism it is you want to deal with when you go down into Jamaica, take some time out. Take a walk on the real side and visit a group of free Africans that have been free and fought for their freedom in the town of Accompong. Yeah, check it out. All right. So that's all for today. I think I've said quite enough. So I'm going to move on. By the way, that came out of the book Afro-American Folklore, Harold Corlander. Okay. Not exactly one of my favorite authors, but he does a good job at the compilation, though. So in the meanwhile, it's time for me to go. This is Doc Ock. I'm signing out. Please don't forget to go ahead and subscribe if you're watching on the tube, and give us a like if you're watching on Facebook, as well as a share. We do still have another book. I haven't brought this one up in a while. This one is called Justifiable Genocide in Ohio. Got two of these. This one is Black Facts volume 21, but I've also got another book, another series of books out that's called Justifiable Genocide, and that one covers all this whole idea of justifiable genocide. Now, in the official reports from the police, etc., they like to call it justifiable homicide, but I call it justifiable genocide because it seems to affect some people more than others. So it's not just justifiable homicide, it's justifiable genocide because it's homicide with another purpose behind it. Okay, when you think of young people like the brother Elijah, bless his soul, may he rest in peace. Okay, when you think about people like him that literally begged for his life and hadn't done anything to anybody except walk down the city street. Okay, then you have to consider the fact that this is not justifiable homicide. It's justifiable genocide. So I broke it down into one volume here. The other work I'm talking about is a total of actually 7 volumes. So for those of you who don't like to read so much, you can just touch base by checking out this one here, Justifiable Genocide in Ohio. And it starts with Trayvon, and it comes forward. I believe I published this in 2015, so it only goes so far. Okay. Yeah, this is from 2015, but it'll just give you some insight into some incidents that you might have even forgot about. Okay. And more than likely, I'll be updating not only this one, but the other one as well. Okay. But in the meantime, this one here is available, and Black Lives Do Matter. Peace out. Without a doubt. Have a good day. Enjoy your day at work today. And we'll be back.